513. Hello, and
Whoa.
welcome to the Comic Conspiracy Podcast.
Fuck,
Episode
man.
513.
Jesus.
513. 513. For the week of August, we're recording August 22nd, 2021. My name is Ryan Higgins. Who's here with me this week?
Brock Sager, and the audience is now deaf.
The audience is now deaf.
And Kevin, and possibly another guest showing up.
Yeah, I just... Toby has fallen into the group of friends. I have a couple where when I need them there at 8 o'clock, I tell them 7. If I need them there at 9 o'clock, I tell them 8. You know, you just know that everyone has these people, these friends. Possibly, if you do not have a friend that does this, you are the friend that does this. Where if you need someone there at a certain time, you tell them, 30 to 60 minutes earlier. Because that's just how some people are, and Toby is like that. So I never expect Toby here at opening. Maybe he'll be here by the end. We're going to talk about his favorite show, Superman and Lois.
Lewis. What?
Yeah, Superman and Lois.
Why is it Lewis now? What?
Because for 18 weeks, Toby has been talking about the Superman and Lois season finale, and
Every episode is
the season finale of Superman and Lois. And
I saw in the Facebook group someone actually posted like an ad saying it is the final episode.
Yeah. I'll leave it to Toby to not show up here to talk about the only thing he wanted to talk about for the last 4 months. We've got all sorts of stuff to catch up on from the last couple of weeks because obviously we did our kind of two-man show last week, myself and Kevin. Go listen to that episode because I never want to talk about Substack again, so we're not going to. We're going to move on to other comic news.
And I can't believe Substack. It's just so crazy.
There's so much more other things to talk about in the world of actual comic book news.
Sorry, I wasn't here for that
I apparently
discussion.
linked to a Jew to Terror article on Bleeding Cool, and I just realized that.
What? You linked to
I'm gonna have to
Jew Terror article?
Source this from literally any other
fired.
source. Oh, here we go. I clearly meant to link to the Newsarama article by Chris Aaron. Obviously, that's what I really meant to link to. In our show notes. I never would link to a Jew Terror article consciously on Bleeding Cool. It is the end of an era, and it is the end of an era that I actually never participated in, and I want to know if either of you guys have. After 25 years, I believe it's 25 years, Wizard World is done. I have never been to a Wizard World convention.
I've never been
to
a Wizard World.
one time in San Jose, and I didn't go to it. Maybe they did 2 years.
I've been to one in my life.
Okay. Brock, did you ever go to a Wizard World?
No, I used to buy Wizard magazine.
Yeah, so after Wizard magazine ended,
I'll look it up.
15 years ago at this point?
Probably. No. It was still slightly going, I think, when I came back.
Yeah, I mean, the last 5 years of Wizard, we ordered 2 for the subscribers for it. We never ordered that book for the shelf in the, in the internet days, right?
Yeah.
But the final Wizard World convention will take place Chicago.
January of 2011.
Was it that late?
Yeah, it's 10 years. So,
whoa.
Yeah,
I thought it was 05, 06 or something. That is way later than I thought.
The first issue was July of 1991.
Yep.
And the final issue,
I remember. I was there, baby. I was there for
issue. You were a Wizard magazine guy.
I probably started my first comic off the rack would have been August 91, and September or October is when the comic store opened. So whatever issue that would have been, 3, 4 of Wizard magazine. Oh yeah, I was there.
It said Wizard launched in July with issue number 7.
Huh?
I don't know.
Yeah,
that
would have been early. Else. It would have been late 91. I would have bought my first issue of Wizard, so that would have been early, single digit number.
Yeah,
I'm sure. It wasn't.
And the last issue was March of 2011.
Yeah, man, I don't remember it going that long. That's crazy.
It literally died the year we start, or the month we started this podcast.
Was it? No, we just started in August, wasn't it? Would you say
we started in March?
That said March?
Yeah,
2011.
Yeah.
Look at that. We killed Wizard. Look at us. We did it.
Clearly, there's no need for both of those things in the marketplace.
Clearly.
But
we have the
World,
superior sales charts.
So while Wizard Magazine went away, Wizard World, their conventions kept going till now. You know, I've heard pretty mediocre things about them through the years. I'm sure there were good ones and bad ones, just depending on the location. The final 5 Wizard Worlds that still exist have been they sold to Fan Expo, and isn't Fan Expo is the one coming to the Moscone Center, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
In 2022, so we're getting Fan Expo San Francisco will be when is it February? No.
I think it's November.
Yeah, I don't see a date here for it. San Francisco, yeah, I mean, WonderCon obviously is home between Oakland and San Francisco for many, many years, 30, 20 plus years or whatever. So it got bought by Comic-Con and moved down to Anaheim. So, yeah, we've been lacking a real convention in the Bay Area since.
Well, no, Ryan, remember, WonderCon's coming back as soon as that Moscone construction is done.
Yeah, okay.
That was the deal, remember?
Sure. It's coming right back. It'd be good to have Fan Expo. They tend to be a little more like the
meet and greet kind of deals.
Yeah, the celebrity cons.
Yeah.
Less real comic conventions, but I've heard pretty good things about Fan Expo.
Yep.
And they get big names.
Yeah.
So if you're there for the celebrity stuff, that's cool. But if you're also there for comics, I've heard Fan Expos are pretty decent as far as like comics and actually being a comic convention. Because too many of these shows, like I liked Heroes and Villains when it was here in San Jose, but it's not a comic convention, right?
Yeah.
Silicon, which was Silicon Valley Comic Con, again, it's not a comic convention, right? It's a celebrity meet and greet con, which again, totally fine, but it's just not a comic convention. I'm curious. Yeah, if you've been to Wizard Worlds, anyone listening, and you have like really good experiences at Wizard Worlds on a regular basis, email us or post in the Facebook group or hit me up on Twitter or something like that, because I've really heard bad stuff about them through the years from almost everyone. Again, I'm sure certain ones were probably ran better than others, but it just seemed like they were always just so random.
Well, my memory, and again, this is going off one, is let's say in a convention hall, 5 tables with comics, a celebrity meet and greet area, and in my memory, about 6 tables of Funko Pops.
Well, unfortunately, that is just like every convention now, right? I mean, that is just every.
Hey, don't forget, I think Graffiti Designs has a booth now. You can go get your signature series stuff from CGC.
Yeah.
And of course, Neil Adams has his,
No, none of that stuff is at Wizard World, though.
Oh.
Yeah. No, they tend to, like I said, they tend to get actual comic guests and decent amount of celebrity people.
Fan Expo. You're talking about Fan Expo.
Fan Expo, yeah. So I'm looking at, they have the next Fan Expo is in Boston.
You should go back.
Brendan Fraser, Michael Rooker, Christopher Eccleston, Katie Sackhoff, Ray Fisher from Justice League, a bunch of people from Star Trek, like big people from Star Trek. Tom Cavanaugh, who's in The Flash, a bunch of people from all the CW shows are there. Lana Parrilla, Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys. That's kind of bizarre. Wayne Knight's going to be there. So
hey,
Rod Perlman,
he has a pop figure.
They get like legitimate people at these, but then they also have. Let me see if they have like the comic people there. So then, so that's the thing. You'll get a lot of celebrity cons like that, but then they're like, here's one comic creator, right? So like Fan Expo, this one in Boston, and I'm just going to burn through like the top of the list here. Brian Azzarello, Kami Garcia, Tony Harris, Jay Lee, Jerome Pena, Yannick Paquette, Jim Shooter, Nick Spencer. These are real comic creators. Rags Morales, Howard Mackey, Kyle Higgins, John B. Myers, yada, 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 yada. I mean, there's a billion of them. So, they get legitimate people at Fan Expo. So I'm very excited, especially on the West Coast. maybe they'll get a couple more celebrities and more of the LA talent, the DC talent coming up from
and maybe just
Burbank.
maybe Isotope will be able to have some after parties again.
And that's another thing, of course, the epic after parties, the epic WonderCon after parties at Isotope Comics. Hopefully, Jameson will get those rocking again. So that'd be super cool.
I mean, are
Excited to see.
either of you going to the comic book convention this weekend?
I am,
in
yes.
San Jose.
So
Yes.
there's both, right? Aren't they both this weekend?
Yeah, there's two.
Yeah.
So Silicon, which was hold on. So Silicon, no relation to Silicon, the other convention named Silicon, that used to be Silicon Valley Comic Con, that used to be Big Wow, that used to be SuperCon, that used to be something else prior to that.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, just to give a shout out on that timeline you just laid out, SuperCon and Big Wow were good conventions.
Yeah, they were like old school comic conventions with like real creators. Jim Lee was there 1 year. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they had good creators.
In case anybody thinks you're just listing a bunch of shitty shows, I just
No. Yeah, SuperCon and Big Wow were decent for San Jose. They were very decent conventions. Was it? I know Jim Lee was there. Wasn't Stan Lee there 1 year too?
I think
One of the
at
two.
Big Wow.
Yeah. So like they would get legit people again. Yeah, at Big Wow, but Silicon Valley again, same thing. It's just garbage and Silicon. I expect it's gonna be a total shit show. But the same people that did Big Wow and SuperCon are doing a San Jose Comic Con.
Yes.
That's going to be a 1 day hotel con at the same time as Silicon that they used to run. So it's like, who fucking knows? Kevin, you have to report back next week.
Will do. Yep. I can't tell you the last time I've been to a hotel con. I'm very excited.
I talked to Lane today, and he's going to go to Silicon for 15 minutes to try and get Frank Cho, and then he's out.
Well, Frank Cho is at San Jose Con, not Silicon.
Okay, so then yeah.
I hope Lane doesn't show up at the wrong building.
No, he knows. I didn't know which one it was. He said, I'm going in, I'm there 15 minutes, I'm out. If I don't get it, I'm gone.
I think the last hotel convention I went to was a sports card convention that was at the hotel at the corner of Wolf and Fremont. Brock, that little one-story.
Oh, well, I know which one. By the Wendy's?
Yeah,
the one across the street from the Wendy's? They had one there?
Because I used to live like a block from there,
Yeah.
right? I used to live right down the road, and there was a comic, and like, but it was mostly like a baseball card and like a sports card convention there. And I went there as like a kid. I was like a teenager, right? I was like probably 16 or something like that. And I just walked up and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." I can't. I mean, I've been in plenty of conventions, but they've been like at smaller convention centers. An actual like hotel con, I can't tell you.
At the Wild Palms.
The Wild Palms. There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. Yep.
It's apparently owned by Hyatt now.
Oh, is it really? I thought that was like a little indie hotel.
Yeah, it says Wild Palms, a JDV by Hyatt Hotel.
It's a Joie de Vivre is their line.
Oh, Joie de Vivre?
Yes. It's the Hyatt like boutique, not label, but like hotel line.
Little hotels.
Yeah.
Got it.
And now that we've alienated anyone not in the Bay Area.
Literally anyone in Sunnyvale, they're like, what the hell are you
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Well, we're going to move on. I got a couple a couple big comic announcements, actually. I'll start with, small, but one I'm
5 other creators went to Substack.
No, not that. We talked about DC's round robin tournament a little while back. Some of the different
we talked about
books that they were sort of like pairing against each other, so fans could vote on what comic they wanted to actually get made. Well, it is ironic that Robins won the round robin tournament, and we got the first issue is going to ship from Tim Seeley and Baldomir Riveros and Romulo Farado Jr. So they are going to do their Robins miniseries. That's going to be a team up between Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Stephanie Brown, and Damian Wayne. and it sounds like it might actually tie in a little bit with what they've got coming up with DC and some of the stories with Batman getting kicked out of Gotham City, which is like kind of the next big Batman event happening after Fear State. So that's pretty neat. There's also a Robin and Batman miniseries by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen, which again, super excited for that.
Sign me up. Done.
Yeah, that's really neat. October. In print November 16th for Robins. So November is Robin month apparently at DC. So a couple big Robin titles. But yeah, no, I was happy to see that little round Robin tournament thing actually wrap up, and we're seeing at least the first book published. Like I said, I guarantee you all that's going to happen. They did promo art for it. They had covers for a bunch of them. They're all going to be on DC Infinite. Just give it time. All those books are going to happen.
Did you guys talk about the Tim Drake stuff that dropped?
Oh no, it's not my news story. It's not that it's not interesting. I don't know. I don't really have anything to say about it. So they made Tim Drake bisexual. Okay, like that's kind of. It's a little bit like when they did the Iceman thing. I'm just like, this comes from nowhere. So I don't really know. Like, whatever. I guess you could use death metal as a way to work on characters if that's what their intent is. That's fine. It was just sort of randomly dropped out. Like DC didn't make any sort of big deal about it. They just sort of made Tim Drake bisexual. It was in the last issue of Batman
Urban Legends, yeah.
Urban Legends, yeah. So, which is now, of course, like a $50 book on eBay. So
that's right. I had a customer in the store that was like, I can't believe they did Tim Drake dirty like that. And I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
Oh dear God.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's
for me, it was just like, huh? Wasn't he just back with Spoiler with Young Justice? And
well, I mean, things like this are kind of non-stories for me because they've got to actually do something with this long term, and the continuity never makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I mean, he's been dating Spoiler forever. I saw a few people that were like, "Oh, they made Robin gay." I'm like, "Well, no, bisexual, and not that Robin, the other Robin. No, not that Robin, the other Robin." So, yeah, it's. I mean, I love Tim Drake. He's fantastic. Again, I don't know kind of what the impetus for this was, or
I think it really just depends on, is this something that's justifiable for the character? Is it natural for this character to do, to go down this road? Because if it is, fine, like it works. But again, if it's something that like feels forced or is a change that was just kind of, we're just going to do it and drop it and just go with it. Yeah, I don't know if it's like, for me, that's the hesitance. I'm like, I don't care either way, but I just would like a good story. I don't want you to kind of mangle a character that's.
Well, yeah, I don't, like I said, this wasn't like they had been building to this, or there was sort of hints dropped other than like the previous issue. Yeah, I mean, why not a new character? It just doesn't make any sense with the history of the character. But like I said with the X-Men thing, it's the same thing. But they use continuity reboot to sort of update, so that's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Other big news: Brian Michael Bendis, DC exclusive writer Brian Michael Bendis, who moved all his creations over from Marvel Comics to DC Comics. Oh, wait, except he's not exclusive anymore. And I think we all pretty much saw that DC, as quickly as they took Jinxworld, which is Bendis's critter-owned stuff, it's now gone from DC. And I would bet cash money that it was going to Image, because of course, why wouldn't it go to Image? But we now have the second major move by Dark Horse Comics over the last couple months. So first of all, you have all of Scott Snyder's work from Comixology is going to be published by Dark Horse
Press.
Yeah, and now Bendis is moving everything over, all his books, Powers, Jinx, Torso, all his previous Jinxworld stuff. There's going to be new. I believe
he even gets to take the stuff that was DC, right?
Mm-hmm, yep, Pearl, Cover,
Pearl,
Murder
yep.
Inc., all that stuff. And there's going to be new issues of those titles as well, including the continuation of Powers. Like, you know what? It was so weird. I would have expected DC takes in Jinxworld. It has all these it has the Hill House books. Let's reconfigure Vertigo. Let's bring it back. Let's start doing more creator-owned stuff. Okay, this is Warner Brothers' way to take these properties, and now we have creator-owned stuff at DC again. And then they're just immediately like, nah, we're just not going to do that. So, yeah, so there you go. Dark Horse, who got absolutely hammered over the last couple of years, losing properties back to Marvel.
Oh yeah,
has picked up two of the biggest creators in the industry for their creator-owned work. So, yeah, big score for Dark Horse.
Well, it was weird because it's like, DC had this. I don't know where they got in his head that nobody knows what Vertigo is, and then it's like they kind of just ditch it, and it's like everybody's like, "Where's Vertigo?" Right? Like the Joe Hill stuff could be under Vertigo. The Jinxworld stuff can be under Vertigo. The Sandman Universe stuff under Vertigo. Like all of these titles can be under Vertigo, but they're like, no, we're going to put it under Black Label. It's like, but it's not Black Label. Like Black Label has been associated with mature stories on the DC properties, right? Like, that's kind of what it's been pitched as. So slapping the DC label on on Sandman is just to me.
Well, again, DC's never made any public statement about this. I assume the reasoning is we want Sandman on Netflix and Why the Last Man on Hulu and all these things to say DC Comics in the, published by DC Comics, not published by Vertigo and imprint of DC. Like DC is like the third thing down the line, right? They want DC, the brand, being the number one thing people see, which again, I don't disagree with. I think you can do that and just have a Vertigo subset, but yeah, whatever.
Well, didn't they have like DC Vertigo for a while?
Yeah, so they would put on the spines, if you look at printings between Sandman and
I love how you they
Preacher
can't see this, but he's shaking his head at just the shit that they put us through, like spine wise. Oh my god!
Well, Marvel's done it now too, but they've completely redesigned the spines of their omnibuses, including reprints, and so all that means is if you have the old printings, the new ones look like shit. But they there'll be like one that says Vertigo, one that says DC, one that says DC Black Label, one that says DC Vertigo, and you could potentially have 3 or 4 different spines for the same designed series. So like, whatever. Whatever. They figure it out one day. But Ben just taking all this stuff over to Dark Horse again. Big score for Dark Horse. We'll see if
Dark Horse seems to be finding, I think, their sweet spot with like they're really getting those video game licenses down. They've grabbed up.
Well, they've had the video game license stuff for a while. They've got a couple big manga franchises that they have under license. Avatar is obviously probably Avatar's got to be their best selling book. And then they have
they picked up the Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm. They've got some good licenses, but they've got Hellboy, they've got Sin City, which are finally coming back into print in real collections. And again, I will 100% take claim for Sin City coming back. At the Comics Per meeting at the earlier part of this year, when we had the roundtable with Dark Horse, I said, "Hey, look, my one of my comments to them during the roundtable was, I've told a few other companies about this with certain properties, and maybe it doesn't sell out day one, but how is Sin City mostly out of print in these small little digest-sized trades? How is Sin City not perennially in print in standard size graphic novels and then oversized hardcovers? It's Sin City.
Yeah.
It has multiple movies. It's by Frank Miller, one of the biggest creators in the comic industry. Like, look, it's not going to sell 1 million copies day one, But this is like Hellboy. This is a perennial book that needs to be in print for basically forever. It is unbelievable that it's been out of print. But they're all coming back now, and I'm super, super happy for that. So hopefully I nudged them in a direction. So
I'm actually excited for that because I had like a spattering of the soft covers and a spattering of the hard covers.
Yeah.
They did a while back, and I was like, well, I need to try and track down a couple of the hard covers to finish it off. But a lot of the soft covers were in the books that I got damaged in the S's. So I'm just like, well, now I think if the trade dress is good, if they're doing hardcovers, I might switch, do this run.
Yeah, I think they're going to be in that collection. So I'm waiting for the first one to ship. And,
I'm definitely, this is definitely me going, this is probably how I replace my Sin Cities. Because I didn't finish all of them. I think I didn't finish reading Hell and Back. Like one of the last ones.
Yeah.
So,
and look, I understand Frank Miller's a bit questionable these days, but like a lot of content, look at the old stuff for what it is. Yeah. It's Sin City, especially those first 2 volumes are incredible.
Yes, really.
I think at the end, stuff. I'm not too hot into like what was the final bigger volume they did.
It was Hell and Back. I think that was the one.
Is that the last one?
Yeah, that's the last one.
Like by the end, I was a little over it, but the first few volumes, the Dark Horse Presents stuff, just fantastic. Just nothing like it. Final big comic news before we get into some movie and TV talk here. Very ironic. This actually dropped like a day or two after me and Kevin recorded the last podcast where we talked maybe for the first time ever on this podcast about this very thing. And then massive news dropped about this. DC Comics and Webtoons are teaming up for a series of comics. Now, I actually... I would say misspoke. I actually thought Webtoons was a much bigger deal in the United States. Apparently, it's not. I knew it was like an international thing, a foreign company, but for some reason I had it in my head that Webtoons is way bigger in the U.S. It's only it's still good. They have. I think the number I saw was 10 million U.S. users, 10 million monthly active users, but 72 million worldwide. So this is DC Webtoons. For those that don't know, again, I don't think we really talked about it in the last episode. It's like a free comic reading app. There was like a paid version, and there's like advertisements and stuff. But it's a free comic reading app where it's for your phone, and it's designed to work with you scrolling. So it's not like a 9-panel grid. It is kind of the way manga works. It flows differently than American comics, and Webtoon specifically has panels that will flow down movement as you're scrolling up on the app. So it's a interesting concept.
I haven't used it myself, but I think I've seen some of the high school students use it on their reading devices and stuff.
Yeah, it's all super manga influenced stuff. Whether I don't know how many Japanese creators are actually using, because I think the company is Korean, I believe. Yeah, South Korean. So I think a lot of it's the manhwa and the other Asian comic creators. So I don't know. Like I said, I legitimately don't know how many Japanese people, if any, use Webtoons. But for this is a big. Oh yeah, so it says a Webtoon comic typically comprises 50 or 60 episodes, quote unquote, per season. And each episode normally is 50 to 70 panels presented in a vertical scroll format. So for DC, who's made it very clear that they are trying to expand out to an international audience where their characters are popular. And, this is, obviously not exclusive to DC. I mean, Marvel does this too. Getting stuff on Webtoons is a big deal because that's going to bring it to, the average age of Webtoons users has to be 20 and under, right? I mean, it's not something that adults use. It's a free mobile app, so it's obviously geared at kids.
Did you see one of the big unknowns? Yeah. I don't know if I I didn't see it. I'm just wondering if you did. Is this going to be new material, or are they repurposing old DC stuff in the Webtoons format?
No, I will only see the Variety article. I believe I have the
Because I could
the
totally
quote.
see them doing something like taking all those Walmart stories and webtooning them to turn it into a verb.
DC Comics is excited to introduce our iconic characters to a new generation of fans worldwide. DC Comics SVP and General Manager Daniel Cherry III says in a statement. He added that DC has been, quote unquote, working closely with the Webtoon writers and artists to adapt our characters and stories to Webtoon's mobile format. Our shared goal is to create fun and compelling DC stories that all readers will enjoy. So that reads to me like new content.
Yeah.
Potentially some reprints, maybe of stuff that would work for that audience,
format,
like the Raven and Beast Boy books that they've done.
Is
that Tammy Garcia, right?
Yeah, it's Tammy Garcia.
So stuff like that is obviously very well suited to this audience, but that reads to me working with writers and artists to adapt means new stories.
Yeah.
I don't know how some of this translated into single issue comics or graphic novels, and I'm sure it's easy enough. You just rearrange the panels. I'm sure the flow would be a little bit different, but I'm sure it's easy enough to. It is funny that a lot of the comments I saw from this from Webtoon users were, we specifically use Webtoons because we have no interest in American superhero comics.
Yeah.
So is the audience receptive to this? That's the big question.
Well, if Webtoons is mainly a YA audience, let's say, then them wanting to get in to the that would be a market that they would need to utilize that tool to get there. And it could be
they've got the adults with the traditional comics and Vertigo and that type of stuff. They've got the kids with the all ages Scholastic style books.
Yeah,
that audience and the manga audience, like fucking nobody gets, right? Nobody gets to. So except for manga. So yeah, this is a great way to try. Yeah. Again, is the audience receptive to it? Oh, who knows? I mean, again, if you have 72 million monthly active users, I'm sure 70 million of them haven't posted their opinions on Twitter. So, it could be an extremely small minority that hates this stuff. But
I think that
if it's free. People will read it. They don't care.
Even at the high school level, when I'm working and doing like teen read weeks and stuff, it's like I'm there pumping those Teen Titans, Raven, Beast Boy books, the Harley Quinn Breaking Glass, all that's was it the Catwoman? I can't remember the name of it, but like all of their YA stuff has been really, really good. It's just, I think it's difficult to kind of break in with that audience. And if they break in at least on a platform that the audience potentially is using, they might go, I don't want to read it, but they look at it and like the art and scroll through a little bit and then you hook them. Right. Mm-hmm. So.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I'm interested to see how this turns out and what the reception will be, but
it's going to kill comic books. I mean, it's dead. DC's going to go under all this stuff. Wait, sorry. I was running through the playbook there for all the haters.
Yeah, any reason to any way to get more people potentially interested in these characters is great. So we'll see what comes of it. All right, a couple movie TV things before we jump into some spoiler talk here. Why the Last Man trailer dropped finally after what feels like it's got to be like 8 years, 6 years.
I mean,
it has to be since they first announced this. If it's gone through multiple developments, it's gone in and out. The first mention of it it's got to be 5-6 years ago at a minimum. Why the Last Man, finally get the first trailer coming to Hulu pretty soon. I'm sure this article has a date, September 13th on FX on Hulu. 10 episodes. For the first season, and fantastic trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Super accurate comics. Looks great. I'm yeah, I don't have too much to say. It looks like Why the Last Man. Obviously, we'll touch base when the first episode drops or whatever. But another Vertigo series. I'm bummed we're never going to get that DMZ series. I don't think that's ever going to happen.
I mean, if we did, that'd be great.
DMZ and Scalped are the two that I was kind of also waiting for.
Scalped.
I just think Scalped is
So we need to be in the right now is not a good time for DMZ and not a good time for Scalped. Neither one of those shows would do they would probably do really, really well, but they would probably be so polarizing that it would just be like, oh dear God,
yeah.
But man,
Scalped.
Scalped would be amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so my funny story about Why the Last Man, it took me 3 times to try and read that first trade. It was just, I don't know. It was just how it started just was so kind of it really put me off. But once I finally got through that first trade, oh man, it was just boom. I was done with it. I read all of it. I was like, this is amazing. This stuff's great. So yeah. And the trailer looks very, very, how am I trying to say this? In line with what the comic book had. So
yeah. I'm pretty excited for it. It does look good.
I am just waiting for the fan reaction to the end of the show. If they stay in line with the comic, because I think I remember when people talk about Why the Last Man, that ending, they are just like, you either get people that are like, yeah, it ended, or you get people that are a little pissed off.
I know, that's gonna happen with pretty much anything. I also have another thing that's finally happening. We've heard on and off for a while that they've been talking about another Black Canary, Birds of Prey-ish, Gotham City Sirens, right? I mean, we had the Birds of Prey movie, but figured they might be doing more. Journey Smollett did get officially announced to be starring in a Black Canary movie.
Sweet.
Which I believe is going to be HBO Max, and that's Batgirl as well, right?
Yeah, Batgirl and Batgirl's going to HBO Max, and Black Canary, yeah.
Yeah, so
I like that HBO's kind of specifically doing movies aimed at HBO Max. It feels almost like those straight to VHS, straight to DVD things.
It's not usually a good thing.
I know it's not usually a good thing, but sometimes sometimes there's like a little gem here and there, and especially if you're promoting it, this is an easier platform to promote something like this, and you already have that network of we have the Aquaman and this and this and this, but let's get them, if we can get them even just subscribing for a few months just to watch these movies, then why not? Right.
Well, yeah, my hope is that they're given the same budget as big theatrical movies, and clearly HBO Max and Disney Plus and Paramount Plus and Warner Discovery and all that. I mean, Hulu, these are big deals. We're going to get a lot of exclusive content for these, right? So, Why the Last Man is going to be FX on Hulu. So I don't know if it's going to be on FX TV. I mean, it must be on TV at some point. But
it's usually, clearly, I think, FX, and then the next day is on Hulu.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's. I have to look up the fly. I didn't see it. It just said FX on Hulu.
Yeah, that FX on Hulu arrangement, it might have changed for why, but their arrangement is it broadcasts on FX, and then Hulu is the stream the next day.
Oh, okay. Do they cover content? Because
no,
FX will usually have some.
Yeah, it's the same show.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, FX usually has some adult content. So, I think, again, you've heard this from every part of the movie fan base and Hollywood for 30 years is that they don't make small movies anymore. They either make these weird, quirky indie things or $150 million blockbusters. There's no in between. Something like a Black Canary movie or Black Canary or Batgirl are perfect characters for mid-level Hollywood movies, right? These don't have, and again, this isn't like a woman versus man thing. This is just this, clearly a Batman character is going to go in the theater, but you could do this with Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. You could do this with something like Justice League International. You could do this with Hellblazer. You could do this with Swamp Thing. You could do all sorts.
Imagine
of
them
movies.
doing an R-rated Lobo this way.
Sure. Lobo but even Lobo feels like that's a big budget thing. That's a big sci-fi.
Yeah,
epic,
but it's something that they could still technically.
But they could, sure.
Right, like.
I think there's plenty of characters, and Marvel's got them too, right? I mean, there's the TV shows are basically, they've got the budget of big movies, but over 4 times.
Loki was just a what?
It's like 2 movies,
3-hour epic.
Yeah, Loki and like Falcon and Winter Soldier are like 2 movies stuck together, right? I mean, they have big budgets, but they're smaller budgets if you were to look at them to the length of time they have. So Black Canary. You have no BTA and any of this stuff, but I'm very excited to get more exclusive DC movies on HBO Max because I'm definitely a fan of hanging to my house and watching stuff from home.
You really like your
dream has come true.
Well, so we've got a bunch of news on this. Specifically,
Ryan's favorite movie ever is WALL-E because they do what he wants to do, which is just lounge and watch shit.
Again, I love going to the movie theaters, but there's other previous episodes.
You love healthy lungs too.
I'm okay at home too.
You like tasting things.
Well, there is that, like we said, the excitement of the big premiere, the big Thursday night thing, that's cool. But cell phones ruin movie theaters and people suck. And
I saw that on Facebook. Some guy's like, I want an experience. I'll hire somebody to sit with me at my house and be a complete asshole on their phone and drop popcorn and be all douchey. Yeah, that's really the experience I want at the movie theater. Yeah.
Yeah, I have the ability to go to the movie theater on weird off times, but that's not enough for me to want to go to the theater, I do like those big crowds. It's exciting, but it's also like, I don't know. I'll have to get back into it. Well, Shang-Chi will be in theaters only.
So let us know how it is, Kevin.
Will do.
Well, Toby, last I talked to Toby, he is attempting to rent a theater for a small vaxxed group. We'll see if that goes through. There was a lot of talk back and forth about this, where was he? Bob Chapek, the chief executive officer of Disney, said that Shang-Chi will go to Disney Plus premiere 45 days after being in the theater. So it'll be an interesting experiment for Disney and Marvel to have a short exclusive theatrical release. This is also at the same time that AMC and Warner Brothers agree to a short theatrical release for 2022 movies that after, again, 45 days, they will go to Paramount Plus. They will go to
HBO Max.
HBO Max. Also, Paramount Plus has the same agreement with Regal. So Paramount movies will be 45 days in theaters before they go. And really, for most movies, 45 days, 6 weeks is the length of movies in theaters. After 6 weeks, who's going, right? So I think we are long gone from the days of Titanic and
Avatar
Avatar. What's that? God, there's always that one that's the My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which was just like every week, just build and build and build, and it was in theaters for like a year, right? These movies, it just doesn't happen.
I'll always have the memory of Titanic, of seeing Titanic opening weekend in a half full theater, and then going back. I think it was a Writers Guild screen. I can't remember now, but anyway, going back, taking like a friend a month later, and every show was sold out for that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
crazy.
insane.
I have actually seen the beginning VHS tape of that movie. Or sorry, I have seen the second tape of that movie so many times because I worked at Sam Goody Suncoast when it came out on VHS, and we couldn't play the first tape because of the nudity. So I've seen the Titanic sink so many times that I actually haven't gone back to watch the movie. But
I'll be curious how these 45-day theatrical windows work. Because again, that feels like pre-ordering Blu-rays available on digital is 45 days out. I wonder if this gives Apple or Amazon Prime or any of these any exclusivity windows for the digital purchase. Because if it's available free on HBO Max at the same time you can rent it off Amazon for $19.99, it feels like, are you just fucking Amazon there, not the theater? Like, I mean, not that I care about Amazon, but like, that's an odd. It'll be weird to see what these windows are. Again, I've said this from day one. Put the thing on 4K Blu-ray in the movie theater lobby, and I'm buying it on my way out at full price. Like, or knock the price of the ticket off, or whatever you do. Like, this stuff could be released the same day. Like, I think people that want to see it in the theater, especially after the last year and a half, they're going to go to the theater.
Well, you're gonna have a drop in attendance in the theaters just because people don't feel comfortable anymore, right? They feel that, oh well, I can enjoy it from my home, so I invested the money to enjoy it at my home, right? Families, you're better off just pumping that movie to streaming and same day theater, because you're going to get those families that are like, wait, $30 and I got 3 kids and 2 adults for $30 at home, or go to the movie theater and it's like $50 plus concessions, right? Like, it's, I think that, like, you're gonna have to give more avenues for people to get this stuff, because people are just, we're not going to get, it's going to be a slow build up to getting back to people are in theaters enjoying the movie Thursday night, 7:00 is the midnight showing now. And
I think, we've talked about this so many times, and we'll just have to see what the next few years are like. But yeah, I really think this is the first big shift, and we'll see what,
like, for me, I'm not even looking at getting Shang-Chi on premium. Aren't.
Well, it's not going to be on. It's not going to be on Disney Plus.
No, like you said, it was going to be 45 days in the theater, then premium for Disney Plus, right?
No, I don't think so. No, I think it's just going to be on Disney Plus.
After okay, yeah, days. No, if it's going to be right on Disney Plus, I'll just wait.
Oh no, I'm sorry. No, it is Premier Access after 45 days. Yeah, sorry, that is my mistake. I actually totally read that it was just going to be on Disney Plus.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, do I wait to buy the 4K for like $24?
Well, that's what are we talking 6 months out or whatever, 4 months out or whatever?
No, it's like, yes, like 3 months out that the Blu-rays are dropping now. It's disgusting.
They come super, super quick. Interesting. I completely misread that. I thought it was just on Disney Plus. Okay, like I said.
Because is there really going to be any drive to watch that movie?
No, yeah, that totally changes things. No, free on Disney Plus, absolutely. I'm going to wait. Pay $30, 45 days out. Hell no. Like, no chance in hell. So, yeah, interesting.
Well, the funny thing is the second I saw that thing, it's like Disney's running an experiment. I'm literally going, that will fail. It's one of those things where it's like, you've already done it numerous times with numerous movies of having it on the same day and premium in theaters.
Oh yeah, this is an absolute failure. Wow, I can't believe I totally misread that. Yeah, no, that's horrible. Yeah, it should be day one on Disney Premiere, Disney Plus Premiere Access, and then day one theater. Like, hell, save till Monday if that's what you really want to do. Have their opening weekend where you're going to make all your money, and then on Monday it's available on Disney Plus. Fine, I'd do that, but not if it's going to be.
To me, it was just one of those, like, you're shooting yourself in the foot with accessibility to this movie. And like, if it's $30 premium, 45 days out, okay, 90 days out, it's on Blu-ray for $22.99. I'm like, fine, I'll buy it for $22.99.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they come out so quick, right?
So it's like, and the thing is like, even though people are going to say, oh, it's good, oh, you should watch it, I'll be like, I'll wait. Like, I don't really think it's going to jumpstart my interest in Eternals.
So Fast 9 came out June 25th. Blu-ray is September 21st. June, July, August, September. So 3 months, right? So 45 days splits that in half. So yeah, fuck off Disney Plus. Like, no way. I'm not spending $30 to get it 45 days after the theatrical release.
Yeah, because Shang-Chi's what, September?
It's about 2 weeks.
2 weeks, and then so 3 months.
3rd, right? September 3rd.
Yeah.
So the Blu-ray will be out. The Blu-ray will be out in November.
3rd or 10th. It's one of those.
Yeah,
So the Blu-ray for this is out in November. I'll just wait for the Blu-ray to drop in November.
Yeah, it'll be out by Christmas.
I mean, Kevin can give his review of it. You know,
that'll be exciting. I'll just sit here and monologue. Good time.
Or you could predict. You could do predictions, right?
I'm looking at the IMAX. Here's an indication, right? I'm looking at the IMAX screen, the only Thursday IMAX screen at the big theater here in San Jose. This is Eastridge 15, and there's like 10 seats taken. So, man, movie theaters. I'm telling you guys, it's gonna hit tough. It's gonna hit tough. And I don't want movie theaters to fail. I love movie theaters, but like it's just got to change. It's just got to change. Well, there's one thing. Another great thing before we'll wrap up here, and then we'll get to our little spoiler talk about a few things here. Big talk about a lot of the money or lack thereof that comic creators get for working or for their work being portrayed in movie theaters and
here's a minuscule check and a thank you.
Yeah, it's a big article in the Guardian. You guys can find the article. So Marvel and DC face backlash overpay. They sent a thank you note and $5,000 while the movie made $1 billion. You know, it's interesting. So I followed a lot of the creators online, and it is funny, maybe not the word I'm thinking. It is interesting to see what creators are like, yeah, these guys screw us, and then a lot of creators are like, that has not been my experience, or they're staying very quiet about this because, again, I don't think it's all creators. I think some, right? Guys are getting bigger, so obviously get kind of screwed out of it. But a lot of the companies, I think, are paying people. They do have stuff in their contracts. They do get other kickbacks from the companies in bigger ways. So, you know, not being invited to the premiere, getting a small amount of money for their participation in the making of the movie. Again, I think there's a lot of people. I think there's a lot of comic creators that are getting significant kickbacks from the companies, and they're the ones being very quiet. While there's a number of very prominent creators being very loud about this. So I think look at who's being quiet, and maybe, you know, I assume they're probably doing okay. But yeah, it's clear that there are some creators that obviously are not getting paid very much for their involvement, whether it's bad contracts, you know, just bad business from Disney and AT&T, whether it's a mistake. I mean, there's all sorts of reasoning behind it, but yeah, it's you know, man, Jimmy Palmiotti and a couple other creators have been very vocal about this. Again, while, like I said, a number of others have been.
Well, I think it's also, you have to wonder. You also have to wonder if some of the ones that aren't vocal are under NDAs.
It's possible, sure,
right? Like
I just don't know.
They could have gotten a deal, and they're under an NDA that they can't talk about it, and they're still not getting dick, right?
Well,
like
Paul Levitz and Jenna Khan for DC in the 80s completely rewrote the book on contracts for what creators get paid based on their creations. So I think a lot of the DC people are good.
Yeah.
Clearly, a lot of the Marvel people aren't. I mean, this has been a problem with Marvel from the very beginning. But again, there are still a lot of big Marvel people who are okay. So again, I think...
I mean, comic books have had this for the entirety of comic book creation. Like, I mean, the biggest character, Superman.
Yeah,
I mean,
Siegel and Schuster got paid nothing. They were almost like they were living in poverty.
Yeah.
Till Neil Adams and other people in the 70s turned around and got them royalties. So it's kind of forced DC into giving them some money. But yeah, I think it's a contract you make, it's a contract you sign, and clearly plenty of people get screwed. Don't take it that
well, isn't it what they say? Like all great, all great wealth or whatever always starts with a crime, or right? Like taking huge advantage of people. It's it's one thing where it's like, okay, we're hiring you to write a comic book character. Fine. You're writing a comic book character. That comic book character we own. Okay. Well, that comic book character blows up, right? Yeah. Oh, bye. Thank you for doing what we hired you to do. Like leaving them high and dry. That's just an asshole move. You know what I mean?
Well, you have to differentiate between a character they're creating or a storyline they're creating, like the Winter Soldier, versus I'm signing a contract to write The Flash, and then they make a Flash movie and don't pay me anything extra. Well, I wouldn't expect anything extra unless they're using my storyline.
Yes, right. yes. But I was more going along the lines of like from the original creators of those characters, that a lot of them, were basically given the shaft and, living in poverty. And I mean, we've all heard the stories and seen, this creator doesn't have health insurance and this creator doesn't have this. And
and don't get me wrong. The company, Marvel and DC, should absolutely, without question, be paying out these creators significantly more. AT&T and Disney should be emptying their wallets to these guys, because there is no Disneyland attractions. There is no Infinity War. There is no Zack Snyder's Justice League, without this stuff, right? Whatever you're doing with the franchise, there is no Webtoons deal without the creators making these characters important, right? So they absolutely, without question, whatever people are being paid, they should be being paid significantly more. Not even a question. But that said, I think that there are some creators who have deals that have made them a decent amount of money and they are okay with it. Yeah. And I think there are some that haven't. So I think that's the bottom line is if you're going in to work for Marvel and DC, get a good contract with them.
Take a comic book legal defense fund lawyer with you. This
isn't the 30s, right? This isn't the 1930s. They can't just get away with murder. It's not just the fucking Wild West and copyright and trademark and lawsuits. I mean, you have defense. You have ways to protect yourself. We should talk real quick about the Eternals trailer before we're going to talk a little What If, and we're going to talk a little Superman and Lois. But that Eternals trailer, I will eat all the crow in the world. That new Eternals trailer looks fantastic. Whatever the hell they were holding back for in all the promotional shots, in the trailer, and the discussion. Now again, don't know. Movie could suck, right? I have no clue. But what a 180. This looks like some. Yeah, look, we're not going to talk. It's never going to look like a Jack Kirby thing, but that new trailer, you'll keep it spoiler light, spoiler free in case Kevin hasn't watched it. I don't know what he's seen.
I have seen zero.
Okay, well, did you watch the first trailer?
Like the first 30 seconds of it.
Okay. I mean, I don't really know what I'm looking at a lot of this. I mean, I do, right? I mean, I know what I'm seeing, but I don't know what's going on, obviously, because we don't really know the story of what's happening. But yeah, there's still some dumb comedy, but it's an MCU thing, so of course there's going to be bad jokes in it. But visuals, good. Superpowers, costumes. It looks like a big Marvel action movie. It looked like, and maybe this is all of it. Maybe you get 5 minutes up through the whole movie, and the rest of it's a bunch of moping around and staring at gray skies. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the hell the movie's going to be like. But we saw something. So, obviously, I was going to watch this movie. I mean, of course, I'm going to watch Eternals. I just thought it looked like absolute garbage. This trailer, fantastic.
Yeah, I think this trailer does a little bit more of giving you what Eternals are.
Yeah. What the story is, what the plot is, what the enemy is, what the fight is, what the villains are, what the costumes are, what the powers are. Yeah, this gives you something, unlike the other trailer, which gave you nothing.
I think this trailer really had people going, oh wait, this is what they were talking about in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh, there's a lot of.
It's finally kind of like connecting the dots in some of these things that they've sprinkled in before, and I'm like, okay, I can see this potentially going somewhere, right? Like
they are bringing in more of the space MCU stuff to this, so I'm very, very excited for that.
Yeah, and they show the actual fighting of what they're going up against, and you're like, okay, we know there's something bad in this.
I mean, I figured this movie was in the can a year ago, so it's not like they were still working on effects or anything like that. I have to assume it's been done forever. So,
well, maybe they had a problem. Somebody had a mask on, and then they had to redo the Foley, right?
I was just baffled by that first trailer and the promotional images and the non-description of the plot and everything. This was, at least now we know what's going on. So, like, cool. This actually looks good. So good on Eternals. All right, we're going to do some spoiler talk here. We're going to talk What If, and we're going to talk Superman and Lois briefly, and then we'll touch base on the finale here. And I'm actually glad we waited on What If to this week, because I would have had a very different. I'm very different. I would have had a pretty different thing to say last week.
Yes,
Kevin,
agreed.
You watched both?
Yes.
Okay. First What If episode I thought was borderline horrible.
Okay. First What If episode I thought was fun.
Okay.
Like, if it had played, a short version of that had played like before an MCU feature, like they used to do the cartoon warm-ups, I would have said, oh, that was fun. Like the Pixar short. Sure.
I thought the animation was bad. The mocap, the what do they call it? The rotoscoping was awful. The character designs were decent in a still image, but the action and the actual the physical animation was very poor. And it was fun. Sure, it was enjoyable enough in okay, let's redo the first movie basically beat for beat in 1/10 of the time.
Yeah.
So you lose all heart, all context, all meaning of jokes, all story. No. And you're just saying the catchphrases, you're saying the lines, you're saying the catchphrases with no meaning to it, no heart behind it. There is good stuff, like the backgrounds are amazing. Again, I like most of the character designs. There's a few characters that look like Bucky and a few other characters looked like Dum Dum Duggins, and a few others, like, you could tell, like, clearly the actors did not sign off on the likeness agreements, but also they just looked cute. They looked weird. Like, there was a fuzzy glow around everyone, and they looked a little like moe. Like, it was an odd design choice on a couple of the characters.
I wasn't sorry I watched it, but I would never watch that episode again.
Correct. I watched it and got to the end and was like, this is going to be a fucking... I'm going to get fucking eviscerated because, of course, everyone loves it because it's an MCU thing. And I'm just like, woof. This is tough.
Now here comes the however.
Episode 2, I thought, greatly redeemed itself. I still think, like most MCU things, the jokes are pretty terrible. I thought there was some very annoying stuff in it. Some of the writing was a little like eye rolly, but it's fine. It is what it is. It's the MCU. It's gonna have its dumb jokes. And I think what happened here is you have significantly more non-human characters, so the animation worked better because it wasn't trying to be realistic. It wasn't. It may have been rotoscoped to some degree more, but it wasn't just like rotoscoping over the first Captain America movie. Like, these are unique characters in unique situations, unique movements. It wasn't just copying the first movie shot for shot. It was a completely different story. I mean, there was almost no lineup except for the opening couple minutes between Guardians 1 and what happens in this thing. So the story is very unique, whereas the first one, the story is just the exact same story.
I thought episode 2 was great. I think I liked it better than you, because I thought episode 2 was great.
Yeah, I mean, I give it like a 7 or 8 out of 10. You know, I think it. I think some of the voice acting is a little weird. Again, these are actors, not voice actors.
But isn't it crazy they got everyone back?
Yeah, was that the Collector?
Yeah, that's him.
It does not sound like him.
I know, but in the credits at the end, it has all the voice actors. Because I was like, you guys got Kurt Russell to record one line of dialogue?
I'm sure the next episode's all about Kurt Russell. I'm sure they're one of the next episodes, right? I mean, that's
I'm sure you could just have him record virtually, like, hey, say this, or it's an outtake from Guardians 2, whatever.
Yeah. I thought Benicio del Toro is the one character that the voice wasn't right. It didn't sound like him.
Well, it seemed like a completely different character than the one he was playing in the movies.
Right. So that was a little weird. And I think there's like Korath, they turn into a buffoon. Like, I don't know what the hell to do. I mean, he's not a character in the first one. He has like one line and then he gets shot, right? Like, he doesn't do anything in the first movie. But they make him into like this weird jokester, which again was terrible. But the animation looked significantly better. The character the physical animation worked. The visuals looked a lot better. The Thanos switch was kind of funny.
I know, yeah.
That was maybe the joke that worked. Him kind of kept talking about the gauntlet and everything. Like those jokes actually work.
Yeah,
I find most of them.
You know, you're talking about genocide, right? No, because it's random.
That was pretty funny. I think this one just worked better because it was in space. It was all alien. It didn't have to look real. To me, man, that first episode, that's a bad start. But the second one picked up. So yeah, look, I was going to watch them all anyway. If they're more like this, if they're vastly different, they go in a different direction. They take that nugget, but then hang a hard left. That's what I want to see out of this. Just redoing the movie with Sharon Carter is not interesting to me. Like, that's nothing. Like, she was fine. She was cool. But, like, that's meaningless to me.
Yeah, but highly, if anybody hasn't watched it who's listening this far for some reason, you could skip episode if you want to be a completist, watch them all. But if you haven't seen any, start with 2, because 2 is a quantum leap in quality from 1.
Yep. Yeah, I the first minute I turned to Leanne of the first episode and went, I don't know if I can do this. She's like, yeah, this is really rough. Just the animation and the dialogue. I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be
I mean,
brutal.
if they threw in a bro, you would have died.
but no, two fixed it. So let's see where they go over the course of the next couple. On that 50-50. So
I will say
we'll
this with no spoilers. I will say this: someone I know who has seen the first 3.
I think they aired the first 3 for review, right?
Yes, that's why. Yeah. That's how for review. Said that 2 and 3 are on their own level, and 1 is on its own level. So I'm looking forward to 3. I don't even know what the subject of 3 is, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if they're kind of doing this like in chronological order. So you get like you get Cap, and then you get Black Panther taken as a kid, and we're gonna slowly like go through the timeline. Like so, maybe the next one is Iron Man 1. I honestly have no clue. I haven't looked at trailers. I don't watch any of that stuff, so I have no idea what the next episode is.
How many are there? 6 or 8?
I don't know. I think 10. I feel like it's 10? More. I feel like it's a longer show. But yeah, worth watching, obviously, but significantly better second episode. And before we get out of here, let's talk about some Superman and Lois.
Okay, now this is so disappointing because all through so to remind everyone, I tapped out after the first episode. I finished it for you guys, and then Charlie and Toby, the peer pressure got to me, and I went back and I started watching all of the season. And then those two aren't here tonight. They have been my companions on this journey, and I'm here floating alone now without those guys who are responsible for me watching it.
Well, I'm here.
All right.
We can talk. What do you think of the first episode?
So,
was it enough for you to keep going?
Only because of peer pressure. I'm just not a fan of the concept. It's nothing against the actors or the production or anything like that. The concept at its core is not appealing to me. So that's why I was kind of not that interested.
Being a little older with the kids and everything.
I'm just not interested in Superman living a married Superman raising 2 teenage boys on a farm.
Okay. That's not my Superman, but I like with a lot of these shows, I'm willing to see where it goes. Yeah.
I did see where it went. So there, go ahead.
Yeah.
And just for clarification, comments, this is the final episode, right?
It did finally end. Yeah. Okay. Superman and Lois. Just finale finally aired this past week. I've been into this episode 1 again. I went in with, I'd say, little expectations just because I thought, again, the setup seemed a little odd, but I'm willing to see where they go with it. And I think the show overall has its weaker plot lines. Lana and her husband and daughter, I kind of checked Twitter during those scenes. There's some of the teenage boy stuff. It gets, but again, it's CW. Like I buy into the story they're trying to tell, and I guess that's the thing. If you're not buying into the story, then it's not going to give you anything. But I think they did a fantastic job getting me to care about these characters, especially the kids, because that's a hard sell for me.
You caring about kids? Yeah.
Unless
they're assholes, then you're all for it.
No, they're fine.
If there was a show about Damien, you'd be there day one.
Oh, hell yeah.
You'd be like begging to be an extra or a repeat.
I legitimately thought, so when I saw that, when they showed this, right, I thought, okay, they're going to make the blonde kid Superboy and they'll make the other kid Damien, right? Like that's what they're going to do, right? They'll be the Super Sons. No? And that's not quite how it ended up, but I'll give him credit for a number of things. I'll give him credit for making me care about the kids. I'll give him also credit for just the cinematography, the visual effects on this show.
Yeah. the Superman stuff was really good.
Unbelievable for CW.
Yeah.
I think you air this on HBO and nobody looks at it like a cheap budget show. I think you put some of these. I'm wondering if they're like, look, can we take the effects that Snyder used on Man of Steel and Justice League? Can we incorporate this technology into the show? You know, like the thing with Superman is you've got to go back to the original television show, right? Where he flies off into the air and it turns into animation, right? That's what we now have just with CG, and you get these quick lands and quick takeoffs, right? So it's not a guy being lifted up by wires and flying through the air, right? I mean, they do it. It's funny how things kind of all come back to how this all started. It's still animation, it's just CG. The visuals on this show are just unbelievable for a CW show of all things. So,
well, it's shot on a new iPhone, right?
I mean, I don't know what they shoot it on, but it looks fantastic. The score is great, the visual is great. It looks cinematic. It doesn't look like a CW show shot on a set.
So the show had enough 80s music for you.
There was an 80s song in like one episode. Like the finale, I think, has something. No, not an 80s movie though. I think your big complaint, Kevin, was Morgan Edge and the villain. Is that? And again, it doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me at all. But
well, okay. So I will say that. Are we in spoilers here?
Yeah, full spoilers. Full spoilers.
So all goodwill I had for that show dissolved like it was being blasted by heat vision when it's revealed that. Look, I am so tired of this shit. I just can't. And this show not only doubled down, but tripled down on it. And I watched the whole thing. I did not bail. I didn't miss an episode. I didn't fast forward. I watched the whole thing for those guys.
Didn't check Twitter.
Who are not here.
You were there for it.
But I'm just like, so the big reveal is that Morgan Edge is from Krypton, A.
Yeah.
That Morgan Edge has Kryptonian powers, B. And C, Ryan, give us the big punchline to it all.
He is legally related to Superman.
Yes.
In Earth terms.
And his big plot is...
He's Superman's brother,
yes.
If you want to be...
His master plan is giving a bunch of people superpowers to recreate Krypton. So now what you have is... Superman is not unique or special in any way. He's just another character on a show full of people with identical powers. And I just hate that crap. I hate it. I can't tell you how much I hate it.
And the funniest thing is you like the Reverse Flash.
Yeah, man, because that's one villain out of the Flash Rose Gallery. It seems like no one can get away from... Like, at this point, they might as well just make it that Krypton never blew up because there's more survivors than there were people who died. Like between
Supergirl's got a bunch of random Kryptonians running around in it, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And so when everybody's Kryptonian and everyone has those same powers, no one is special.
So the story in this is that it uses like the John Byrne like post-crisis thing of like, you know, and Krypton used this and a few other things use this where people don't have kids. They are genetically matched. Alien device takes two compatible beings, mixes their DNA and have a kid, right? Yeah. So Laura L. What's her name? Lara, right?
Laura.
Yeah.
Yes, Laura.
Yeah. Did not birth.
I wish we were broadcasting these videos.
I remember Jaro is not
Jaro.
Not Jaro. Something Rowe. RHO. I can't remember what his name is. Morgan Edge. He comes to Earth and takes the name of Morgan Edge, right? And he came similar time as Clark.
Yeah,
but,
and it's cool.
Did not.
And get it? He has a Fortress of Solitude, but it's in a desert. Isn't that cool? Oh, man. Two Fortresses of Solitude are cooler than one.
after many years of
Hey,
plotting,
sometimes you want to be hot when you're alone, and sometimes you want to be cold when you're alone.
He has a way to take a machine to reincarnate Kryptonians into the bodies of humans, and of course, But Kevin, again, be happy that they didn't actually show him, because I know, I'm sure a villain you were a little sick of, because they do try to take the incarnation of General Zod and put him into Superman. However, he's able to beat him, so we never actually have him become Superman.
Let me just say this: I have no problem with the reveal. Personally, I think it's more interesting to have a regular Earth businessman, mogul, doing some evil plan to try to take out this alien. I think that's cooler than having him also be an alien. But if you're going to do that, have him be from Mars or Daxam or Kolu or any of the 1,000 other planets. Wouldn't you rather see Superman facing an alien with a totally different power set?
Yeah, sure.
Wouldn't that be a cooler fight than Wanda and Agatha shooting colored bolts at each other? This is my point. I don't want to see Green Arrow versus Hawkeye. I want to see Green Arrow versus Iron Man. I just mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have easily done Daxam. That would have been cool.
Well, Daxam's already been in it, right? With Supergirl, right? We've already had Mon-El. So I am not in any way, shape, or form in the same boat as you here, Kevin. Because I really liked it. Yeah, I rolled my eyes a little bit at the brother part, but I'm like, okay, it's a genetically matched person. It's not really his brother, right? But we've seen a number of stories in the Superman comics of someone trying to recreate Krypton on Earth. This is not the first time we've seen this. So clearly they were going to, hell, even like Superman 2, Zod's like, fuck it, we'll just take Earth and this will be the new Krypton.
And we will make babies and we will populate this world.
40 years ago, that was that plot. I'm glad we haven't moved past it.
Well, it is a popular plot. But I
was like, War of the Supermen, like...
Yeah. No, like I said, right. This is far from the first time they've done this plot, but I thought they did a fantastic job. We're just going to see similar plots pop up in all the medium. They're always going to take the easy story and do something with it. No, I don't want to see random Kryptonian bad guy. I don't want to see. Zod for season 2, unless they've got some amazing plot. Give me Metallo.
I'm just waiting for the Kryptonian cloning factory that's been in the Phantom Zone all along, and it gets turned on somehow.
I like Phantom Zone villains. I like bring in some of those guys.
Here's how I've changed in my old age. When I was a kid reading the reprints of that Kurt Swan Silver Age stuff, I was like, oh, awesome. Candor, Supergirl, the pets, awesome. Yeah. So cool and fun. Now I want Superman as the sole survivor of Krypton. I think that makes him more special and makes
it a John Byrne.
Yeah. Yeah. I have. I guess I have in my crotchety old age.
But comic book nerds are just going to be John Byrne by the time they get old.
If they're going to do the doppelganger story, if they had to, I thought it would have been much more interesting to have the Superman, the evil Superman from that alternate Earth, that follow that guy to this one. Mm-hmm. I can't even remember the character's name. Irons. Steel.
Yeah. Steel.
I would have rather had that evil Superman follow him to this world as the doppelganger fight. Just the Morgan Edge thing just didn't work for me on any level.
Okay.
But Tyler Hoechlin, can we just say, I was lukewarm on him in Crisis. That was where he was on Arrow, right?
Yeah.
I was totally lukewarm on him there. I thought he was so good as Superman and Clark in this.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah,
it was so good.
John Henry Irons. It's a weird flip. I mean, the plot of him is fine. I just sort of am a little confused why he said his name was Luther in like the first couple episodes. It feels like they had a plot and they're like, we're going to go this way instead. And it's just, he just took that name and just because he wanted to hide his identity for a couple episodes, and now we know who he really is. It was a weird.
Yeah.
It might have been
like,
just the writers trolling the internet saying, look, we're going to have a Black Lex Luthor.
I just thought, okay, evil Lex Luthor, alternate reality. Sure, he could be, evil Lex Luthor. Luthor, alternate reality. He's like a war guy. He's got an armor. He's black. He's got these other powers. Sure, whatever. That's fine. That's totally cool. It was a weird, an odd choice. So I would love to know the backstory behind that, if that was always the intent, or if it's just like, yeah, we're just going to take this name for half a minute. But bringing Steel in, he was fantastic. And again, I thought that he did a great job with his suit and his powers. And I like that they bring in.
Did he have a lot of bolts?
No. I mean, you can't really. It doesn't look like the Steel costume, but he's got the hammer, and maybe they'll make it a little more Steel looking in the second season. They brought
you're gonna get the Steel armor Mach 2, right? Mach 3, Mach.
They might. What the heck's her name? Natasha. Yeah. So they bring in Natasha at the very end. I like the way they did that. So
it just felt like that Irons, not only the Luthor alias, but that whole Earth 2 or whatever. It just seemed like so pointless. Like, yeah. Like they didn't do any. Like he could have easily been from the same world and just not trusted Superman.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of it's an interesting dynamic where he was married to Lois, and he came here to, he's like the first half villain. He's the villain like the first half of the season, right? So you set him up to, you could have a reason to take down. But I think had they called him, General Irons in the first episode, people would be like, okay, he's going to be Steel. I just don't get why he went by Luthor.
Yeah.
I just wasn't clear
because he could have been the Lex Luthor of that other world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then what that opens up for you is then because of his name, Superman and Lois don't trust him, and he doesn't trust Superman.
Right. He could have just I can't go by Luthor on Earth, so I'll take the name John Henry Irons.
Yeah, whatever.
They could have done something like that.
You ever notice there's a lot of Superman adjacent people that are named John?
Yeah.
Like a lot.
2.
There's probably more.
2 is a lot. But I liked the finale. I liked this whole season quite a bit. It's pretty high on my TV show
must
list.
watch.
I just thought it was a lot of fun. The doppelganger thing doesn't drive me just crazy.
I used to like it, man. It's not like I just dislike it as a concept.
It's overused
again to
as a
use
concept.
Like the Hulk versus the Abomination is fun for 5 minutes, but wouldn't you rather see the Hulk versus the Leader? Like making some crazy contraptions and shit like that.
Yeah. No,
it's the Joker problem with Batman, right? It's like I'd like to see a Joker story, but I want to see the other Bat villains at the same, as well. Don't keep giving me a Joker story, right? Like, how many times can Joker pollute the water?
Yeah. Well, that's where you're always going to get, and they're always going to go back to those big characters.
I can understand going back to them, but like. Yeah, just recycling it over and over again. It's like, come on.
I think you just have that kind of what's the what's the line they like to use? It's like poetry. And this and then Star Wars Episode 1 reviews, George Lucas talking about. You have the characters with the same powers fire their beams at each other. You have Hulk and Abomination smashing their hands together. You're just gonna get that. Oh, I get it. They're the same. But
Peacemaker, blood sports, shoot at each other.
Yeah, but see, that was cool because they specifically put a spotlight on the ridiculousness of having two identical people on the same team.
Yes.
I don't know. Well, anyway, I like Tyler. I'm saying Tyler like I know him. I like the Superman portrayal very much, and the Clark, the Superman effects and the flying and that stuff was really good. Not only for CW, just really good, period. No qualifiers.
Standard.
Yeah. No, effects were incredible. Jaw-dropping for a network TV show like that. So, There is just like that. I wonder like what they did for if they use any of the stuff they use for Mandalorian, or they use like the Unreal Engine or some of the video game tech. Like, because I just feel like there's other stuff going on there that is not just like traditional and the traditional CG they use in this stuff. Like if you look at, holy fuck, I have the finale of Flash to watch. Oh man, how the mighty have fallen! This season is just brutal. Brutal.
You know how I know it's brutal? You have not said a lick about it all season.
Real bad. There have been like full episodes where like Flash isn't even in it. It's more about like Iris's dad's girlfriend and like other characters that weren't in the show 2 seasons ago. Like Iris is like straight up not in a bunch of episodes. They like talk about her off screen, and
did she get out of the mirror universe?
She did. Yeah.
Did you notice who directed the finale of Superman and Lois?
Yeah. It was Tom Cavanaugh. Yeah. So that was cool. Yeah, he's off, right? He's gone.
Oh, he's not on it. I haven't seen the Flash in probably the past 3 seasons.
Unrecognizable. you turn on the show and you're like, who the fuck are any of these people on this show? Yeah. It's Flash. I get it. Flash is there, right? Barry's there. Well, Iris is there.
They had an emergency.
I hope there's a lot of characters with super speed.
No,
that'll get me to tune in.
Yeah. And Killer Frost is still there, but she's no longer. Killer Frost and Caitlin are now 2 different people, and Killer Frost is gone. So it's back to just being Caitlin.
And they had to write out Plastic Man like that.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought Elongated Man was on.
Elongated Man, yeah.
So you have Sue Dibney occasionally, and no Elongated Man. Right. It's just you're like there was an episode that was like it was like Sue Dibney, the other photographer, Cisco's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Joe's girlfriend, like his wife girlfriend, the precog, and Chunk. Remember Chunk from the Flash comics?
Yeah.
Chunk?
So obviously a much more
like the Mike Barron run.
Yes. So Chunk is in the book, not again unrecognizable as Chunk for the best, because that's a very offensive character, but a
version of
black
Chunk.
nerdy scientist that works with Flash. He was in a previous episode, and they save him, and now he's on the team. And I'm like,
it's the one they saved that was like gonna like blow up existence or whatever, and he was stuck in the loop.
He was stuck in like that box or whatever.
I was like,
is the Flash even in the show anymore? Like, what is going on? Like, it's.
So you're saying that this is the start of Flash and Friends?
There's one more season. There can't be more. It just has to be the end. It's impossible. I mean, Supergirl's over. Flash is over, or Flash has to be over after next season. I will be
the only show that's going to keep going forever and ever and ever, because it just can be crazy and ridiculous, is Legends. Tomorrow.
Well, Legends have like a complete shift to their cast. Like the cast is totally different. And I haven't watched the season, right? So Legends is the one I've been saving up, because I'm going to finish that off next. But I think Matt Ryan's in it, but he's no longer Constantine. He's like a new character. Like they're making him like a different character. I don't know. Superman and Lois is like
the normal
off in his own world from the rest of these shows. And Stargirl too. Stargirl, the first episode was a little dull, but Stargirl is keeping up the quality. So, Flash, you're the top of the game there for a little while, but it's been downhill the last couple seasons. All right, that is it. We are going to wrap up here.
One thing.
So, listeners, this will be the last time Ryan and I disagree on any media. So savor it.
Okay, real quick. It's dropping, I believe, next month. Act 2, Sandman, Audible.
Yeah. You ever talked about that? Yeah, they announced that like weeks ago. Yeah, we talked about that when that got announced.
No.
They had a
promo going.
Yeah.
I think you can get the first one for free, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's still available, but
well, I got the first one free when they did the promo before. So now I'm just like, oh, do I want to chuck $30 at this one? I might.
Yeah.
I might because I think it's season of
But
Mist.
think of how many hours of entertainment you got from that first one.
Yeah.
Even if it's a $30 price tag,
It's
what
like
is that?
It's like 20. It's like 25 hours or
Yeah.
30 hours or something. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah, it's amazing.
that's a great bargain.
Oh, I know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Season of Mists. Oh, I don't know if I can handle it. So good.
Oh yeah, no, I mean that's day one, not even a question. Day one purchase.
Yeah,
Right.
agreed.
Thank you to
Peer
all
pressure. Fine, I'll day one it. You bet.
Thank you to all our Patreon backers: Joe Duff, Craig Anderson at ClearPathCoaches.com, Jimmy Rivera at the Social Forum Podcast, Talon Bray, and our good friends over at 9panel.com. If you want to pick up some comics, you can go on there. We actually have a new promo for them. We're going to be running next week, so look for that. Give you some more info about 9panel.com. Head over to comicspiracypodcast.com for all our previous episodes, Apple Podcast and Spotify. You can go to patreon.com/comicconspiracy to kick us a couple bucks for hosting this podcast and give some money to these fine folks for helping me out.
Thank you.
Comicsconspiracy.biz is where you can go for all your physical comics. You can buy all sorts of great stuff or pick up at the shop or delivery.
Delivery?
And,
We're doing delivery now?
Yeah,
Mail order
didn't you hear,
delivery.
Brock? Your new shift starts soon.
Son
You're
of a
shuttling stuff around.
fucking bitch.
Delivery, mail order, yes.
That's
Get
not delivery. That's just mail order.
The mailman delivers you the package. It is for delivery.
Oh, Jesus.
ConspiratorBrock.com is where you can hear Brock talk about the specific nature of words and what they might
I do my
mean
pull
and
list
don't mean.
and I've done a couple Kickstarter openings because I've gotten a couple of those coming
Nice. Wanders on the Fourth Dimension podcast is Charlie's Doctor Who podcast. You can hear him talk all about the good doctor. And don't miss Kevin's weekly interview series called Between the Panels at fanbasepress.com, where he interviews all sorts of great creators. Kevin, who do you got coming up? Or who'd you just interview?
Corinne Halbert is the most recent interview, and most people are going to go, who? What? Never heard of her.
What?
She has got such a crazy, unique voice. Her comic that's currently coming out is called Acid Nun, and that should tell you all you need to know. She's just such a fresh voice in the comic scene. It was that's just exactly the reason that I started this in the first place, was to give people like that more exposure.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's awesome. And go over to leannehill.com, my wife Leanne's website, where you can see all her artwork on there and pick up some art from her at etsy.com/shop/LeanneHillArt.
Now I have a question. Is she doing a what if piece?
Maybe. She might.
Yeah.
Something strikes her fancy.
Nice.
You can go over to Twitter and follow all of us. Ryan Higgins, Ryan, that is myself. Brock is Brock Sager. Toby is Toby XI. Charlie's Insanity and Chaos. Kevin is that Kevin Sharp. The store is Comics Con Store. People will get an OnlyFans account now that they're banning all the pornography. So you can give us some money on OnlyFans.
We're getting an OnlyFans account? What are you going to do? Have people watch me pack boxes?
I'm joking.
I mean, if it's going to make money, I'll do it. Fuck it.
I mean, apparently they're going to be looking for users pretty soon, so go crazy. If you want to pay Brock to watch him pack boxes on OnlyFans,
drop a line on Twitter and let me know.
If that's your kink, man, go for it.
Yeah, it could be an Ask Brock Anything. While he's packing, he just answers the questions that come in.
Please check out the Geek Box to be on this week's episode. We're recording on Monday, and our good friends over at Manga Nations. Thank you all very much. We'll see you next week.